What is up, Big Cat Nation? So today we are going to go through an entire ACL rehab session and kind of show you what it looks like here at Big Cat, kind of give you some of the rationale why. So hopefully it's beneficial, educational, all that stuff. So kind of starting off, we start off with some shockwave. She's in a late stage, so we're about 8.5 months out. And we always start off with some shockwave for her specifically because she's had a lot of tightness, a lot of scar tissue in that front of the knee. And this has really helped open up, break down some of that scar tissue, allowing us to strengthen the quad because it was really limiting our ability to get an isolated quad, good quad activation. So the shockwave has done a really, really good job of breaking up that scar tissue, allowing us to strengthen the quad a lot more. As part of our dynamic warm-up, nothing is more boring to me than like quad pulls and glute stretch. That stuff's all fine and dandy, but it's really, really boring, especially if you've done like 9 months of it. So we always start off our sessions with spike ball for her, especially because one, it's super fun. It's the highlight of her session. She kicks my butt pretty much every time, so super embarrassing there. But she's also a volleyball player, so it gets us really, really close to the demands of her sport, and yeah, it's fun. So again, my goal here is to make the process as enjoyable as possible while still getting as much work done as possible. And so we kind of expose her to the demands of her sport while also having some fun doing it. Next, we're going into some single leg jumping with a neurocognitive component. Single leg jumping is kind of one of our biggest deficits that we're trying to kind of polish off, finish before we're like totally cleared. And as you can see here, so it says the word black, but it's written in red. So red and yellow, the ink color, will be our right leg, and then blue and black, the ink color, will be our left leg. So there's that brain component of we have to see, process, filter out what's relevant, what's not. In this case, the word black is not relevant. We have to process that out. But the word red, or the ink red, is relevant. We need to react to that, land on our right leg, jump up as high as we can. So we're kind of challenging the brain's ability and the speed at which it can absorb this information, filter it, and then act upon that information. Really challenging, really love that. Next, we got into some frontal plane hops. The goal is to kind of stay square here and kind of expose her to some of these frontal plane forces throughout the knee. Super challenging, way harder than it looks. We do like 15 seconds, as many side to sides as possible, and trying to stay square. So now we wanted to progress. You put more weight after a squat. We wanted to progress her on her single leg jumps. So we added the synaptic strobe goggles. What those are doing are they're flashing or taking away her vision for just like a brief little second. So she's getting way less visual information than she normally would. And this is going to help progress or make the exercise harder. And we want to see her messing up, 20 to 30% of the time so that we know we're actually learning and we're challenging enough. If it's too easy, we're not actually learning. So next we went into some heavy strength. So we're doing some super cat split squats. And I really like super cat split squats for a lot of reasons, but I think it takes a lot of the balance out of it. I don't want to worry about balance. We'll worry about balance in a different portion of the session. I want pure output or pure muscular output. So the super cat allows us to kind of take balance out of it and just really focus on loading. We're also focusing on keeping the knee forward and not just letting it shoot back as we go to ensure that we're keeping tension on that quad, actually using the quad, not just loading the hip. I want her to stay tall, heavy on her heel, all that kind of stuff to ensure that we're loading the knee. We then went into some hip loading because, again, hips are important. Even though I'm talking about knee loading, still need nice, strong hips. We're focusing on actually loading into the glute a little bit, keeping a little turn of our pelvis into that glute. And then you better believe we finish with some leg extensions. Now, we've really struggled with getting good quad activation like I talked about early on. So shockwave has helped a ton, but we've also found that adding an isometric at the beginning. So we do like a 30-second heavy hold at the beginning, and then we'll go straight into 8 to 10 reps. And, I want her to go really slow on the way down. I'm adding a little additional load on the eccentric by pushing, and I'm telling her fight me, fight me, fight me, fight me. Kind of giving her this eccentric overload, which is really, really great for, one, cortical spinal excitability. That's just a fancy word for activating that quad from the brain, as well as muscle size, muscle strength, getting that quad as strong as possible. So that's kind of what a session will look like. We may have missed a couple things here or there, but if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'll try to make sure I answer them. This is what our ACL rehab sessions look like, especially kind of more into the late stage. Hopefully that helps. Big Cat, out.